Overall, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for the opportunity first. I'm thankful for being able to look in all those and every player that was out there participating eyes and like tell them like this new, this a family. You know, we gotta change. You gotta know. So me coming here, you know, my vow is to definitely make change, and change was made. I was very thankful, very excited being out there with the O-line and everything like that. Like, I was so thankful being out there with them receivers. Everybody did their part, and I feel like everybody believed.
Given what Shedeur went through and what you went through, watching tonight, does it make it almost more meaningful than just a football game?
I'm not going to say meaningful. We've already spoken like 3 times a day. We just got off the phone joking and clowning like crazy. It's going to be strange for both of us. I was in the hospital the last time. I missed, I think, 3 games, but this time I'm well. But, you know, me going out there taking that walk and him taking that walk, and he know I'm not there. That's different. That's different for him. So, but he's so prepared right now. A lot of people are approaching it like a preseason game. He's approaching it like a game. And that's how he's always approached everything, to prepare and to approach it like this is it. He's thankful and appreciative of the opportunity. He don't get caught up in, you know, all the rhetoric in the media. He's far beyond that. He was coached through that when he was a kid. So we've always gone through that, and he's always navigated his way. Some of the stuff is just ignorant. Some of it is really adolescent, but he's far surpasses that, and I can't wait to see him play. I can't wait to see Jimmy play. You know, I can't wait to see Shiloh play on Saturday. I can't wait to see Will play, Travis, and Cam and BJ. Did I get them all? Xavier, yeah. I can't wait. I'm like a kid in the candy shop. It's like your babies out there that you cut the umbilical cord. Now they doing their thing. I just can't wait to see him get down tonight. But it's going to be a little weird. It's going to be a little strange. It really is. I got to admit that. But I'm praying for him, and God has set him up and placed him in the perfect position that he needs to be in. It's going to be a problem after tonight, though. I promise you that.
Hey now! So far, so good. Not going to get over my skis. But I think Shedeur looks like an NFL quarterback, which is what I thought before the draft. It's what I thought after the draft. It's what I thought during training camp. Okay? We're not handing out flowers. I don't even know if he'll play next week because the other guys might come back. But for the opportunity he got, kid looks like an NFL quarterback. Made good decisions, got in and out of the huddle. That's what you want to see. Browns got to be happy from what they've seen from Shedeur Sanders so far. Second half, we'll see. But so far, so good. Go Browns. Go Legendary.
Hey, for Big Shedeur. Let's put things into perspective. Take this time to create competitive commotion. What I mean about competitive commotion is you're in a quarterback battle. You want to get the whispers, the chirping. Hey, man, well, Shedeur look good. Hey, man. To not only the fans, not only the players that you share in the locker room, prove to yourself that you belong here. How do you respond to the success of throwing a touchdown, to the success of running a touchdown, or the interceptions, the botched snap, the wrong route, the wrong read? And I really want to see Shedeur live up to the moment, just to let it fly. Show that arm talent, show that leadership, show what you're capable of being and becoming. How do you handle those mistakes, but also how do you minimize mistakes? Can the offense operate at a high function with you under the helm? Control what you can control. And if you do that alone, I think you'll be good.
The son of a Hall of Famer, projected as a top 10 pick, suddenly finds himself suiting up for Cleveland in the preseason against the very team that was supposed to save his NFL career. What happened next had every analyst, coach, and former player scrambling to explain how they got it so wrong. Shedeur Sanders was supposed to be untouchable, Colorado's golden boy, Deion's heir, the quarterback who threw over 4,000 yards and 37 touchdowns in his final college season. Mock drafts had him going anywhere from 3rd overall to the Panthers at 11th. Instead, he watched 154 players get called before his name finally came up in the 5th round. The Cleveland Browns, desperate for depth after a string of injuries, took a flyer on what many considered the steal of the draft, But this wasn't just about talent falling through the cracks. League insiders whispered about attitude problems that went deeper than anyone publicly admitted. Multiple teams had Sanders rated as a first or second round talent, but dropped him completely off their boards after interviews and workouts. One anonymous scout told reporters that Sanders came across entitled during meetings, expecting special treatment because of his last name. Another described his personality as off-putting, claiming he showed little interest in learning systems that didn't cater to his strengths. Teams worried about locker room chemistry and whether Sanders could handle criticism from coaches who weren't his father. The character assassination reached its peak when reports surfaced about Sanders demanding certain jersey numbers, specific practice schedules, and even input on offensive coordinators during pre-draft visits. Whether these stories were true or exaggerated, they spread like wildfire through NFL front offices. Teams that desperately needed quarterbacks suddenly found reasons to look elsewhere. The narrative became toxic, and Sanders paid the price. Then, the injury bug hit Cleveland harder than anyone expected. Kenny Pickett, their projected backup, went down with a shoulder injury during training camp. Jameis Winston was dealing with his own health issues, and suddenly the Browns were staring at a quarterback room thinner than anyone anticipated. Enter Shedeur Sanders, the forgotten fifth rounder who had been quietly impressing coaches in practice. What started as a developmental pick became an emergency audition. The irony couldn't have been more perfect when the preseason schedule revealed Cleveland's matchup against Carolina. The Panthers, sitting at pick 11 in the draft, had been heavily linked to Sanders throughout the pre-draft process. They needed a quarterback to eventually replace Bryce Young, and Sanders seemed like the obvious choice. Instead, they went with another position entirely, leaving Sanders to slip further down the board. Now, he'd get his chance to show them what they missed, wearing the wrong uniform. Game night arrived with minimal fanfare. Most fans expected Sanders to get a few series in garbage time, maybe hand off to running backs and throw some safe checkdowns. Instead, what unfolded over the next 60 minutes had the football world frantically rewinding their DVRs and questioning everything they thought they knew. Sanders took the field in the second quarter and immediately looked comfortable, scanning the defense like a 10-year veteran rather than a rookie making his debut. His first touchdown pass came on a perfectly placed back shoulder fade that had former NFL quarterbacks on social media losing their minds. The throw itself wasn't just accurate, it was anticipatory, showing the kind of field awareness that can't be coached. But it was his second touchdown that really got people talking. Facing pressure from multiple defenders, Sanders rolled right, kept his eyes downfield, and delivered a strike to the corner of the end zone that would have made his father proud. The precision, the poise, the timing, it all looked effortless. The reaction started pouring in immediately. Steve Young tweeted that Sanders showed more composure in one quarter than most rookies display in entire seasons. Dan Marino called it vintage pocket awareness with modern mobility. Even critics who had questioned his character couldn't deny what they were seeing on the field. One by one, analysts who had justified his draft slide began backtracking, suddenly remembering his college tape and wondering how 31 teams could have been so wrong. But the real drama was happening in the Panthers organization. Sources close to the team revealed that several coaches and scouts were asking pointed questions about their draft strategy after watching Sanders carve up their defense. The same quarterback they had dismissed months earlier is now making them look foolish on national television. Internal discussions reportedly became heated, with some staff members openly questioning whether they had overthought the pick. The money Sanders lost by sliding the fifth round was staggering. First-round picks in his projected range typically earned signing bonuses between $8 and $15 million. His actual fifth-round deal was barely worth over $3 million total, with minimal guaranteed money. That's a career-altering difference for any player, but especially painful for someone who clearly belonged higher on the draft boards. Every touchdown pass against Carolina represented not just vindication, but millions of dollars that slipped through his fingers because of perception rather than performance. What made this performance even more remarkable was the context surrounding it. This wasn't Sanders playing against third-string defenders in a meaningless exhibition. Carolina's defense featured several starters trying to fine-tune their schemes before the regular season. They were motivated, focused, and determined to make a statement of their own. Instead, they became the backdrop for Sanders' coming-out party, looking helpless as he systematically picked apart their coverage. The ripple effect extended far beyond one preseason game. Suddenly, every team that passed on Sanders found themselves answering uncomfortable questions from media and fans. How did they miss on a quarterback who looked this polished? Were their evaluation processes flawed? Did they let outside noise influence their decisions more than film study? The Browns, meanwhile, went from having a questionable quarterback room to potentially discovering their franchise cornerstone in the fifth round. League executives privately admitted that Sanders' performance forced them to reconsider their entire approach to character evaluation. Had they been too quick to believe unsubstantiated rumors? Were they penalizing him for confidence that they would have praised in other prospects? The questions became even more pointed when former teammates and coaches from Colorado began speaking out, painting a completely different picture of Sanders' personality and work ethic than what had circulated during draft season. The game also highlighted the Panthers' quarterback situation in stark terms. While Sanders was threading needles and extending plays with his legs, their own signal callers looked pedestrian by comparison. Bryce Young's struggle from his rookie season suddenly seemed more concerning when contrasted with Sanders' poise and accuracy. Fans began wondering aloud whether their team had made the right choice, and whether Sanders might have been the answer to their long-term quarterback needs. For the Browns, what started as depth insurance transformed into something much more significant. Sanders didn't just perform well, he performed with the kind of swagger and precision that suggested he belonged on much bigger stages. His ability to read defenses, adjust protection calls, and deliver strikes under pressure looked remarkably advanced for someone who hadn't taken an NFL snap 3 hours earlier. Cleveland's coaching staff found themselves with an unexpected problem. A good problem, but a problem nonetheless. The aftermath revealed just how much the NFL draft process had failed Sanders and rewarded teams that stuck to their evaluations despite external pressure. Browns' general manager, Andrew Berry, looked like a genius for ignoring the character concerns and focusing purely on talent. Meanwhile, teams that needed quarterbacks but passed because of personality rumors watched helplessly as their biggest need got addressed by a division rival who took a chance when nobody else would. Sanders' performance against Carolina became more than just a preseason highlight reel. It represented vindication for every player who had been unfairly judged, every late-round pick who refused to accept the perceived limitations, and every team willing to trust their scouts over popular opinion. The football world has spent months explaining why Shedeur Sanders didn't belong in the first round. 2 touchdown passes later, and they were struggling to explain how he made it to the 5th.